সেই অসুখেই 36 বছর বয়সে তার মৃত্যু হয়। আমার বয়স তখন 2.5। এই 2.5 বছর অসুখের মধ্যে বাবা মাঝে মাঝে একটু ভালোর দিকে গেলে তাকে চেঞ্জে নিয়ে যাওয়া হতো, আর সেই সঙ্গে আমিও যেতাম। অত কম বয়সে স্মৃতি স্থায়ী হয় কিনা এ নিয়ে প্রশ্ন আছে, কিন্তু আমার এই সময় দু একটা ঘটনা খুবই সামান্য হলেও এখনো মনে আছে। একবার বাবার সঙ্গে সোদপুর গিয়েছিলাম। গঙ্গার ধারে বাড়ি, বাবা একটা জানালার ধারে বসে আছেন, আমি পাশে বসে। বাবা বললেন স্টিমার যাচ্ছে। আমি ঘর থেকে ছুটে বাইরে খোলা চত্বরে বেরিয়ে এসে গঙ্গায় স্টিমার দেখলাম।
Satyajit Ray was born in Calcutta into an exceptionally talented family who were prominent in Bengali arts and letters. After graduation, he took up commercial advertising, and he also designed covers and illustrated books brought out by Signet Press. One of these books was an edition of Bibhuti Bhushan Bandyopadhyay's novel Pather Panchali, which was to become his first film. In 1947, Ray established the Calcutta Film Society. During a 6-month trip to Europe in 1950, he managed to see 100 films, including Vittorio De Sica's Luigi di Basiletti, which greatly inspired him. He returned convinced that it was possible to make realist cinema, and with an amateur crew, he endeavored to prove this to the world. In 1955, after incredible financial hardship, his adaptation of Pather Panchali was completed. Prior to the 1956 Cannes Festival, Indian cinema was relatively unknown in the West, just as Japanese cinema had been prior to Kurosawa's Rashomon. However, with Pather Panchali, Satyajit Ray suddenly assumed great importance. The film went on to win numerous awards abroad, including Best Human Document at Cannes. Pather Panchali's success launched an extraordinary international film career for Ray. A prolific filmmaker, during his lifetime, Ray directed 36 films, comprising of features, documentaries, and short stories. These include the renowned Oppu trilogy, Pather Panchali, Aparajito in 1956, Oppur Sangsar in 1959, Jalsa Ghar in 1958, Postmaster in 1961, Charulota in 1964, Days and Nights in the Forest 1969, and Piku 1980, along with a host of his lesser-known works which themselves stand up as fine examples of storytelling. His films encompass a diversity of moods, techniques and genres: comedy, satire, fantasy and tragedy. Usually he made films in a realist mode, but he also experimented with surrealism and fantasy. Aparajito, The Unvanquished, forms the second part of this great trilogy. It deals with the adolescence of Oppu following his father's death. Sarbojoya, after some hardships, takes Oppu to live in her uncle's household in the country. The concluding film in the trilogy is Oppur Sangsar, in many ways the most mature and deeply felt of the three works. Apu, now a grown man, marries, writes his first novel, and then loses his wife Aparna in childbirth. The theme of change, of the countervailing gains and losses attendant on the forces of progress, has often been identified as the central preoccupation of Ray's work. There is perhaps no filmmaker who exercised such total control over his work as Satyajit Ray. He was responsible for scripting, casting, directing, scoring, operating the camera, working closely on art direction and editing, even designing his own credit titles and publicity material. His films come as close to complete personal expression as may be possible in cinema. Ray's style grows out of material itself, and from an inner compulsion to express it clearly. The thread that ties the body of his work together is its strong humanist basis. By his own admission, his films are antithesis of conventional Hollywood films, both in style and content. His characters are generally of average ability and talents. Perverted or bizarre behavior, violence and explicit sex rarely appear in his films. His interest lies in characters with roots in the society. What fascinates him is in the struggle and corruption of the conscience-stricken person. Jalsaghar is a story of Bishambhar, a feudal lord who ruins himself through holding music concerts to outclass a boorish upstart son of a moneylander. The film as a whole explores the idea that truly great art is created in that space of time just before disintegration takes over. Time seems to be frozen for Bishambhar, and it is within the act of refusal that his ruin lies. The inner struggle between traditional and modern values in Indian life has colored several other Ray films.
জনার্দন গাঙ্গুলির ছেলে তুমি? আগে